Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hello and welcome in episode number 85 of Clark After Dark, right here live and direct, baby. Hey, we're recording from the booth this week. We are live and direct in the state of Louisiana, rocking and rolling, doing a little housekeeping, or do you call it housekeeping? I don't know, because I'm not here cleaning nothing this week, but I'm out here dog sitting for my mom and dad out here in H-Town, hot Louisiana, stand up and holler. Nonetheless, what a week, right? We had a lot of racing went on this past weekend. Cortland Smith, I'll bring him on here in just a second. A lot of different things we could talk about, right? There was a lot of races that got their races in, but again, there was a lot of them that didn't, because Mother Nature has been a threat every single week that we have came here to record this podcast here in 2026. It's been a possibility that we could get rained out, and I'm tired of talking about it, folks. I truly am. This week, we're going to talk. Listen, this is what we try to do. We try to talk about what's to come and what just happened last week and some other different key notes and storylines and some things that'll develop. But again, I'd rather not come here and talk about everybody's looking at their weather apps, because we're all the same. Like, whether you're the promoter of this said racetrack or you're the owner of this said racetrack, we're all doing the same damn thing. And we're just hoping and praying that these guys are either right because we canceled the races and made the right decision, or we're praying that they're wrong because we went ahead and pushed through and we're racing anyway. And albeit whether it rains, shine, whatever the hell happens, we're hoping that we can race. But it's just been a tough race this season so far. This past weekend, I could have been announcing up in West Plains, Missouri for the brand new Heartland Late Model Tour. But again, I took the weekend off because my parents asked me to do them a favor. They go to Florida every year around Memorial Day weekend. They asked me about a year in advance. I said, yes, Mom and Dad, I'll go ahead and do that for you. So Trenton Berry asked me if I could come do the Heartland Lake Model Tour. So I had to turn that down. I felt bad about doing that. So I knew that I was going to have the weekend off. So I sat around and was like, we're going to watch Eagle Raceway tonight. It got rained out on Friday and Saturday. After watching it on Thursday, they had a banger. I'm going to bring on my co-host of this podcast now, because if I don't bring him on now, I'll just ramble for 10 minutes. It's my man, Cortland Smith. I'll get into some of the more stuff going on here. But, man, how are you doing tonight? What's going on in Cortland Smith's world?
Man, we're here. We're LIVIN, and school's about wrapped up. So shout out to all the teachers and students, those that have graduated, moved on. Congratulations. A lot of college graduations going on. All those that have hit those accomplishments in life, congratulations to you, college, high school. I know teachers are absolutely excited. We're about to get a break from dealing with all y'all's bad kids throughout the whole year. They're not all bad, but I'm just making the joke, but man, we're living life. We got finals going on. School's about to end for us. So my old work week's about to open up a little bit. And I am so excited for racing. And then, like you said, Zach, everybody's looking at weather apps. Let's just be real. But you know what? With power and determination, the good Lord said the faith of a mustard seed can move a mountain. Well, the faith of a mustard seed might be able to move that rainstorm, right? So that's kind of where we're at. Over here in the Smith camp. I'm really excited about this weekend, Dad's Memorial Race and all that. But like you said, we sat around the house, went to Sabine, hung out there. I know we'll talk about that in a little bit, but just seems like this weather is it's going to be a continuing topic the next couple of weeks. And you can sit here and talk about it all you want, or we can just try to make the best of it. Right. So that's what we're doing. We're just living life. We're living like Larry over here.
Yeah, usually wouldn't even come on to this podcast and start off and tell people where I was or why I wasn't at a racetrack. But I just felt like if they do listen to this podcast, then that would address it. Because, dude, every weekend that I'm not announcing Cortland, I'm sure you would probably guess that I get a lot of messages every weekend. If I'm not somewhere, they're like, "Where are you at tonight? Where are you going to be?" Or, and this weekend I was like, it sucked because the weather was actually good and I was sitting at the house, dude. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. It feels really weird. Like, it's an understanding when you're sitting at the house after you've been rained out. Like, that's a different feeling. You're like, oh man, we're bummed because we got rained out. Okay. And that's been a lot this season. But when you're sitting at the house and you are you're fully capable to go and announce or work somewhere, and you're just not. And so you're sitting at home. Like I said, I was looking forward to watching Eagle. They got rained out. Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series got rained out on both Friday and Saturday. Those are the two races like I was really looking forward to watching this weekend. They got rained out. Ended up watching Eldora. They had Let's Race 2 with the sprint cars at Eldora Speedway at the Big E. There's a lot more stuff we're going to get to. Of course, the World of Outlaws had a 4-race swing, got rained out on the 30,000 to win finale on Saturday at Marion Center. But again, that's why I kind of addressed. I took the weekend off, and this weekend is Joe Duvall's Funkadelic Dirt Track and Honky Tonk Extravaganza at Salina High Banks at Arrowhead. And fortunately, Joe, Big Daddy, loves me doing his races. I've done the last 3 of them. But again, I tell him every time, I'm like, man, like sometimes the schedule just doesn't work out. Like I told my parents a year in advance, So anyway, I just got word a minute ago, breaking news from my buddy Wesley Gwaltney, who was going to cover the event, your Cop Cam Super Dirt Series announcer. He just texted me like 2 seconds ago and said that it got rescheduled to July 17th and 18th. And I looked up the dates, and that's the West Grigsby Memorial at Boot Hill. So welcome to the life of ZC and all the frustration I go through as an announcer, because your boy would love to be in Oklahoma, but he would also love to be there supporting Derek Grigsby, the Grigsby family, because I love West Grigsby. You know what I mean? Like, I would feel torn if I'm in Oklahoma July 17th and 18th announcing modifieds when I know the Grigsby family's got their big memorial race, and I know Derek would love me and he would expect me to be there, but he also would probably understand too, Cortland. But anyway, again, that's kind of welcome to the life of ZC. There's always stuff. I'm already shuffling the deck. Like if we get rained out, I'm trying to go here, trying to go there. You know, I try not to force my hand. Like I just try to go places where I'm welcome or they want me to be. But yeah, so this weekend, like it worked out pretty well for me because again, I wasn't going to go to Oklahoma. Joe understood Wesley was going to go cover it. But I was like, works out because I get to do the Triple Crown Throwdown. And guess what, buddy? This week we're racing for your boy Darty. Come on back.
Yes, sir. Come on back.
Racing for Darty this week at Sabine Speedway, part of the Henry's Mafia. Hey, I'm part of the Henry's Mafia. I know I never had a race car, but I'm telling you right now, because if your dad was alive, he would say yes. Zach Clack is a part of Henry's Mafia. And if you have anything against that, then I'm sorry about your luck, bud. Me and your pops was tight, and I'm a part of that. I'm part of the Henry's Mafia. Okay, do you have anything to say about that?
No, you're part of the Henry's Mafia, man. You know, we talk, we at least talk about it once or twice. Old Darty. You know, I wasn't gonna go down this rabbit hole, but like, man, it was dope. Scott Swarner, he kicked it out the park with that. So, man, you know, like old pops like that, like Darty at a racetrack was a completely different animal. And I'm not saying an animal like he was out there throwing a rager every night, but like, man, when he went to the racetrack, he was so laid back. Like that was his happy place, man. Not saying he wasn't happy at home, you know, like he loved life. He loved, you know, the church and everything about it and loved the family. But man, when he showed up to the racetrack, he just enjoyed it. And he enjoyed the people in racing, right? Like, and you meet so many different people from so many different backgrounds. And, you know, like the story you and him at the Rev, one of the last races he ever went to, right? Like you and him were hanging out at the Rev. And I still get stories to this day of different people of like, man, did you know, like your dad did this for me, or your dad did this. Man, I was walking around the pits, I had an empty fuel jug, and he just grabbed it from me and took it and told me, don't worry about it. And it's just, you know, like I'm really am fortunate, and I don't think I'm blowing smoke up nobody's tail when I say this. When that dude is an absolute legend, and there's a reason why this still is going on for 5 years strong now. It started at Thunder Valley. Derek Perkins and his crew down there at Thunder Valley. He called me, wanted to start it, and then the crew at Sabine wanted to keep it going. And man, I really I don't know, man. I start to get emotional when I really think about it, man. All, you know, at the drivers meeting last year, we got guys from, I mean, like Scott, like one off the top of my head, Skylar McFarland comes from the DFW area to come race, right? And he didn't even know my dad. Like, he just like, dude, he goes like, dude, you're such a cool guy, and I can know how much your dad meant to you and stuff like that. And it's just, I'm gonna hold it together for the first 10 minutes. We'll get down this rabbit hole later, but yeah,
okay if you don't.
Yeah, the Darty Smith Memorial kicks off the Triple Crown Throwdown this year. I'm super pumped up about it. There's a lot of guys that are looking forward to it, and he's an absolute legend, man. From you know, he used to kick some chicken back in the day. That old super stock. I mean, he was a dog, all right. Suma modified champion, picking up checks. You know, like he was a dog. But I think the Darty that everybody come to know and love was the last 10, 15 years of his life, right? He promoted 171 with Mr. Ben, and just. He's just that dude. You know what I mean? Like the old saying, they don't make them like they used to, and there's only one Darty Smith, and you'll never get another one.
That's awesome, man. I agree with you, and it's no better place to hear it come right from the son's mouth, man. Your dad was a legend. When I die one day, and I don't know when that would be, none of us know. You know, like your dad didn't know. Like that's the part that's so heartbreaking about it. Like if we had saw it coming, he'd probably laugh and be like, "COVID ain't taking me down," you know. Like, it's just, it's tough, you know, it's tough. Like every time I think about it, man, I always just like, he's supposed to be here, you know, but I know we kind of understand, and we accept it now, but it doesn't make it any easier for you, I'm sure, man. You know, like I don't ever compare or anything like I do. Like I realize the things that you've been through, and it makes me appreciate it and love the fact that I still have my father, you know, just to see the great relationship that you and your dad have. Like, it makes me want to kind of duplicate the same thing y'all have, you know, like, and I'm not sure that I ever could. You know, y'all had a really, really great relationship. I love my dad too. Don't get me wrong. My dad's an awesome guy too. And I think in all of our eyes, right, think in all of our eyes, Cortland, our dads are legends, right? So yeah, in my eyes, my dad's a legend too, and he only won one feature race. It came on May 28th, year 2000 at the Champion Park Speedway. And guess what? Your boy was out of town in Florida, and I missed his very first ever feature win, and I still ain't over it. My heart is still broken about it. But anyway, yeah, that's awesome, man. I truly am excited. Like, like I said, man, this is one of those weekends, like I told you a while back, like I'm torn, because I got Duval want me to go to this race. And man, I mean, obviously I've always done this Triple Crown Throwdown. Certainly since I got out of rehab in 2023, I try to be a part of it every year. So yeah, really, really looking forward to it, man. I'm happy we can honor your dad, man. Cause like, listen, man, maybe I'm not the one that should say things like this. And this isn't a shot at anybody. I'm not saying that people don't deserve them, because there are a lot of very, very deserving memorial races in this country. But like, you see a lot of races get thrown up here and thrown up there. It's like, well, come to find out, Uncle Darrell wasn't even that great of a man. Like, they just wanted to have a race for him. You know what I mean? Like, and there's nothing wrong with that, a little one-off race, but like, it really means a lot to come together and have races at a home racetrack for a man that truly meant a lot to a ton of people. And I know we've reiterated that a few times, but we're going to make sure you understand and you get it. Darty Smith was the man, folks. But that's about that. While we're talking about Sabine, well, hold on. We'll get there in just a second. I don't want to jump the gun here just yet.
Don't jump the gun.
Because I know you were at Mania the other night. You were boots on the ground at Sabine Speedway the other night. I do want to get to that. Before we do, because we skipped our 84s last week on episode 84 and on episode 85 this week, we got to get our numbers out because we missed it last week. And as soon as it was over, I was like, man, we forgot. But we're not going to forget this week. How about the number 84? And listen, I know this podcast, I know that RaceON.com sponsored by Day Motorsports, but it doesn't matter because this man, Smiley's Racing Products, Tom Lorenz, has done a ton for dirt track racing and just racing in general throughout the great state of Texas in his days. Smiley's Racing Products, obviously more in the DFW area, but Smiley's is tried and true. And if you ask anybody what they think of Tom Lorenz, most of them will have a positive thing to say. Tom Lorenz is an outstanding human being, but he also drove a number 84 car. Watched him race quite a few over the years. And also got, how about former SUPR late model driver, race some great late model stuff too, number 84 blue car of Nick Brown, former promoter with Dylan Scott at Revolution Raceway Park. What say you for 84s tonight?
84. Give me my boy Justin Collins out of Cleveland, Texas. I've been going with those Cleveland, Texas natives, and my 85 is also from Cleveland, Texas. Don't steal it from me. But I've been sticking with the old Cleveland, Texas people here the last couple of weeks. But my man Justin Collins, 84, got that slick looking orange and black car in a limited. Got a B mod this past year and been really fast. Made a few trips up to Boot Hill earlier in the year and starting to travel out a little bit more. But Justin Collins and my other number 84, Mr. Miles Moose out of Lincoln, Illinois. He has won a prelim at the Gateway Dirt Nationals. One of those guys that he'll be the first one to tell you he doesn't have the fanciest program, this, that, and the other, but the dude has gone out on a flow racing night in America, set fast time at Fairbury, won his heat race and started on the pole, right? Like, he's just a dude, one of those local Illinois guys that shows up in a 28-foot enclosed box trailer. And I think he raced a Barry Wright car last year. So, like, I think the main car he races was a Barry Wright. Now, who would ever think that a Barry Wright car could get around Fairbury like he did that night, right? And to do what he's done with it. So Miles Moose in the number 84, man. Shout out to him. I know it's one of those guys that he does everything he can to go and race. And I haven't seen him necessarily race a whole lot this year, so I probably should have looked into that before I said his number. But 84, Miles Moose out of Lincoln, Illinois.
Really good racer. There's no doubt about it. One of those guys, when you watch a flow night in America, you think that 84 car, like, he'll be running. He gonna get a transfer spot. Like, he might not win, but he's gonna make the show. You know what I mean? Like,
he's a dirt draft pick. I'm telling you.
Think about that race at Macon. Remember the race at Macon? This was it the Summer National before that? I don't know. He led a lot of laps of that race. Remember, Turbo was on him. Him and Turbo ended up hooking horns, I think. But and then Turbo posted on social media. He said, I've never locked horns with a moose before, but we did tonight. But that's about it. So also, since I've done this the last few weeks, it's kind of become a theme here. The number 84 has never won a NASCAR Cup Series race with 238 starts. AJ Allmendinger has the most out of those 238 with 38 starts. Jimmy Johnson most recently has driven a number 84 for Legacy Motor Club. Of course, he's part owner of that now. Dick Trickle drove a number 84 in 1989. I've always wanted to have a Dick Trickle reference on Clark After Dark. We got it tonight. Jody Ridley drove the number 84 in 1983 and 1984. Now over to the 85s. Buddy, I don't think there could be any better 85. Now, a lot of people don't really recognize this driver by this particular number. A lot of people recognize him as being the winningest driver in American Sprint Car Series history out of Hooks, Texas. Drives the number 9X car of my man, the Texan Gary Wright. But a lot of people don't know is that he drove a number 85 wing mod, modified. They called them coupes back in the day. But Gary Wright,
Yeah.
son, look, check this out. I should have sent them to Cody, but check that bad boy out, huh?
There you go.
Yeah, what a unit,
Yes,
son.
sir.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You can't get much better than that. And yeah, so Gary Wright, I got him for a number 85, your all-time win. I think he has 126 career ASCS victories. If you want to fact check me, you can, guys. I might be off one or two on that. So if you come to correct me, that's fine. I know I'm really close though. Chris McLeod, Brandon McLeod's uncle, used to drive a number 85 mini stock. And I know this because my dad raced against him at Boot Hill and Webster back in the 90s. And I swear he was cheating. That Chris McLeod had, like, he had a 28. Everybody's kids say that about their dad, whoever they raced against, right? As Josh Bell about people Brian's race, they're all cheating too. Anyway, no, but Chris McLeod raced a number 85 mini stock, and I swear when that thing hunted down the front straightaway, like there were supposed to be, I think, 2.0 liters, right? These four cylinders back there were supposed to be pretty stock, and then the mini mod started getting kind of stretched out. Boy, it sounded like he had a 2800 cc stroker motor rolling down the front boulevard at the old 7/16 long paperweight or long paperclip oval Boot Hill. But yeah, Chris McLeod was a bad man, Your Honor. Drove number 85 there. And how about former ARCA Series regular Bobby Gerhardt? When's the last time you've heard the name Bobby Gerhardt? Huh?
Come on,
that's my 85. What say you?
I got one. I ain't got as many as you this week because I went down right before we started recording. I said, "Crap, I need number 85," and I thought of it at the top of my head. He was at the 30,000. Mason Smith out of Cleveland, Texas. That's Mason Smith. I think you named him old Racing Mason. So yeah, he's pretty swift. So doesn't necessarily race a whole lot. You know, I looked it up on the My Race Pass. Doesn't race a whole lot, but man, when he shows up, you can go ahead and count on him out of Cleveland, Texas. Mason Smith in the 85. That's the one I'm throwing down for episode 85, number 85, my man.
Dude, the number 85 has 2 career Cup Series wins in the NASCAR highest ranking series, achieved by who? First name Emmanuel, last name Zervakis. Zervakis, sorry. Zervaks. In 1961, Mom and Dad, if you listen to this pod, I'm not calling you old, but that's the year that Mom and Dad were born. All the way back in 1961 to the Greenville Pickens Speedway and Norwood Arena Speedway. I don't know if you just heard that bell, but that means that the dogs want to go outside and they're going to have to sit put for another 45 minutes. Hope they don't piss on the floor. 137 starts for the number 85 car. And hey, here's this. The number 85 has not started a NASCAR Cup Series race since 2002, Cortland Smith. It's pretty wild, man. It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while. So
been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a few years. Man, I knew it. I'm here. I'm on dog duty. And these dogs, and it's been raining its ass off. So even if I decided to hop up real quick and let you talk for a second, you're like, hey man, let me get these dogs and let them. That means I'll let them outside. They'll sit there, and then I'll have to bathe them because they're going to be freaking dirt. Settle down. Anyway, all right. Sprint cars return to Architect Speedway for the first time in over a decade. My good friend and Houghton, Louisiana car owner Dustin Gates and his driver Cody Gardner out of Benton, Arkansas went to victory lane with a Hurricane Area Super Sprints on Friday night. Man, I know that win had to have meant a lot to Dustin. Haven't had a chance to catch up with him yet. But man, I know Cody had to have loved getting that win for Dustin too, right? In his home state, Arkansas, Texas, as home as any racetrack will be for Dustin Gates in that number 6 camp all year long. You know, we talked about on this podcast last year, that big win they got at Gold Cup, right? The opening night, the prelim night at Chico at Silver Dollar Speedway in Chico, California last year. And man, that team, they just kept plugging away. They just keep plugging away. They come home with another top 5 on Saturday night. Matt Covington got the sprint car win on Saturday night. But man, it was cool to see the 6 car Dustin Gates. He's a former John Harvey Toyota Arklatex Championship winner in the Southern Outlaw Wing 600. And I remember that because him and Matt Ebar came to the checkers in a photo finish in a Wing 600, one of the best 600 races I've ever seen. That was back in 2000 and I think 11, if I'm not mistaken. But pretty cool. You know, Dustin had that really bad crash. And he's happy that he can walk again, right? Like he spent some time in the hospital, you know, to get his back right, fractured some vertebrae there. So, man, it's just good to see good people like Dustin still in the sport, right? He could have sold out, you know, not being a driver anymore, but to see him as a car owner, getting wins, and to fill the seat with such a quality driver like Cody Gardner, sky's the limit for them. But Arklatex was pretty slick, slow.
It was different.
It was different. It was slick and it was smooth. It was slick and slow. I'll hit all the results and I'll get your insight on it. Tupper and Grigsby split, like, no, not a surprise there. Those two 23 and 69 did what they do. Neil Kemp and Chris Mangum split factory stock wins. And dude, how about Frank the Tank up there for contending for the dub on Saturday night? It appears that J6 316 car, the dog will hunt. Are you ready to wheel that rig on Friday night at Sabine Speedway?
Man, I tell you what, the pressure just got put on because my boy. Yeah, I as far as I know, yes, Frank Cannizzaro. I don't know how smart of a man he is, but he's bringing the 316 down to Sabine and gonna let your boy wheel it. So I'll be back behind the wheel. It's been about 4 or 5 years, so I'm about to knock some rust off. And I tell you what, I went by, checked out the old fire suit, made sure she still puts on. Your boy's still same size he was a couple years ago, so that's a good thing. So fire suit still fits up, and yeah, my boy Frank Cannizzaro is going to bring that car down. We can talk about that a little bit more, finish out the Arklatex deal. But yes, I do plan on wheeling the 316 for Frank. He's going to bring it down there and let me drive it this weekend at the Darty.
Absolutely. At Giorgio, the peanut butter box is here. Giorgio's like, hey, let me outside, damn it. And she's like, why are you neglecting us? Anyway, but yeah, dude, pretty good stuff there. So Kemp again and Mangum split factory stock wins, and I heard that was a pretty exciting race. And man, the Sportsters just can't help it. When is the time we showed up on this podcast and ever just said, hey, congratulations to the sports winner, he got out of there scot-free? And maybe they have. Maybe we have. We don't try to make a big deal out of it. But man, the Sportsters just can't help jumping on the damn Cortland Smith naughty list. Like, we're going to make this naughty list an official thing because that's what they continue to do. And one driver in particular, and a driver that I have tons of love and respect for, and one that I was thrilled to see back in Victory Lane. So here's the deal, Cortland. My man Steve Grants in the 21G car drove his ass straight to Cortland Smith's naughty list via the tech shed on Friday. Not only Friday, but he did it again on Saturday. He got DQ'd Friday night for windage trays. Same thing that Adam Roy got popped for at Arklatex about a month ago. Yeah. So either we're not paying attention what everybody else is getting popped for and saying, oh, I better go check my car. I'm going to settle down because, Steve, I love you, and I'm not trying to give a rise out of you, buddy. Because if you hear this. But, like, what are we doing? Steve, what are we doing? I'm asking Steve Bogus, not you. No, Steve Bogus, what are we doing? No, Steve Grants, what are we doing, sir? So he rolls through there, windage trays, gets DQ, didn't realize, and it's not performance enhancing, right? So I'm not taking anything away from the drive with the 21G car. But then he rolls back to the tech shit on Saturday and gets DQ for the freaking drive shaft. I'm raising my voice in here, scaring the dogs. But I tell you what, drive shaft, DQ, Cortland Smith. Newsflash, Steve Bogus is going to get you. If you ain't learned yet, you're going to learn today. What is going on with the Sportsters?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
What the hell? Yeah.
Like it doesn't, I don't know, because you talk to all these Sportster guys and they're talking about, oh, it's a fun, economical class and we need to keep it this way. And then 90% of them are out there cheating or getting DQ'd. It doesn't make any sense. Now, everybody, hey, look, I'll always give you one. You know what I mean? Like, stuff happens. Windage trays, whatever you want to call it. Like, stuff happens. You might have been in a rush. So be it, right? Like, everybody gets that one brush off. But, like, dude, it is repetitive with these dang Sportsters. Like, it blows my mind. And they're the first ones, oh, we need to keep it cheap and economical, and we're just here having fun. No, you ain't there having fun. You trying to win, and I understand that, but you ain't got to cheat to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing? Like, why? Why? You're racing for $200, $300. Like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. Like, like, it blows my ever living mind that, and it's not like this has been a thing since last year. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't just a this year thing. Like, it's since last year that these dudes, I guess they're just trying to test Steve Bogus. And guess what, Steve Bogus, you're passing the test every week, my man. Like, I don't know. Maybe like it mind boggles me.
I think maybe Cortland, like I think that's a former factory stock car, right? And like Steve Bogus created these Sportster rules was basically to cut corners and to save money on everything that you didn't need to be spending additional money on a factory stock car, right? And that's why he is DQing people for even silly things like a windage tray. Goodness gracious, these dogs drive me absolutely insane right now. Of course, they need to go outside in the middle of this podcast. But but I mean, really, like, and I'm not, listen, I know you're not either. We're not, like Steve Grants, we're not here picking on you in particular. We're picking on every single one of you guys that got DQ'd. Yeah, we're picking on every single one of you, not just you, Steve, because it's every single week. And no, does it affect Zach Clark? Does it affect Cortland Smith? No. Does it affect the fans in the stands? No. Did it affect James Caskey, who ended up leaving with the checker flag, or I mean, with the victory? My race pass results show it that he's the winner. But I think that he would have probably like preferred to win it under the checkered and went down there and got his interview and picture taken. You know, like it's a whole different scenario when you aren't the winner at the actual racetrack. Like if you're going there and you're doing it for all the guts and for all the glory, then James Caskey got robbed of that Friday and Saturday night. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying Steve did it on purpose, but like that's the whole point of having integrity and all these different things in sport. Hey, and I'm gonna be the first person to tell you that Steve Grants is a man of integrity. Like, really, as much as we're picking on Steve Grants right now, he is like, I don't know if you've ever met him. He is an awesome human being. Like, seriously, one of my favorite people. I will never forget when he won his first ever factory stock feature at Arklatex. I think this was like 2013 or 14. I was out of town announcing somewhere else. Bill Kitchen called me to tell me that Steve Grants won the race. Steve jumped on top of his car. It was one of the few races I'd ever missed at Arkansas. I was so torn for missing Vivian that weekend just because Steve got his first ever win. And it's been over 10 years. He's been trying to get another win. Hey, settle down. But anyway, yeah, it's just this thing is unraveling right here live and direct on RaceOn.com. Yeah, I get it. We're all hungry and need a piss and shit, but it happens. So shit, man, it's all good. Hayes Jordan won your rookies. Hayes Jordan won the rookie Sportsters, and I'm mentioning this for multiple reasons because he won the race and he did it with a heavy heart. Man, he lost his aunt this past week. If you guys don't remember, drove the number 10 car. Aaron Jordan was a really good modified racer around Arklatex. He's won some races at Boot Hill too. But Aaron's sister passed away this past week, so I believe that would have been Hayes' aunt. So the young man was racing with a heavy heart, and he was down there in his interview, and he mentioned her in Victor Lane. So I did want to mention him here on this podcast. Also, Tyler Illis won the tuner feature on Friday. Lane Riley won it on Saturday, and that was a really, really good race with him and Ava Kennedy, one of your Super B Speedway regulars. So that's your Arklatex Speedway results. You were at Sabine on Saturday night. I don't know if you have anything additional you'd like to add on Arklatex. You're more than welcome to do so. You were boots on the ground down in Manny on Saturday night. What was popping down there at the Sabine Speedway on Saturday night?
Yeah, before we leave the Arklatex deal, I don't want to forget Trip Caskey picks up the rookie Sportster win. So on Friday nights, I don't know if you mentioned him or not, but don't want to leave out Trip there. The old Caskey family, like you said, James ends up sweeping the weekend there. Whether he wanted to or not, the man went home with 2 paydays, right? So and Trip ends up taking home the rookie sports there on Friday. Sabine Speedway on Saturday night. Now, they don't race on Saturday nights a whole lot, ladies and gentlemen, but they did this past weekend and had a really good weekend. I think it was a phenomenal show that Sabine Speedway had put on. Had a really good turnout of cars, had a really good turnout of fans for a track that normally races on Friday nights, had a really good turnout of fans as well. Your features rolled down like this. Your Sportster winner was Brandon Malone, dude that's really fast down there anytime he shows up. Your front wheel drive winner was Wade Cook. You know, those two were pretty much like lights out there. And then when you got the limited modified, man, they had a really good racetrack. They ran late in the feature, and that Sabine Speedway, man, Shane's got her shaped up nice to where like you rip this top almost all night long, or at some point in time, you're going to be ripping that top guaranteed. Like it is a guarantee at Sabine Speedway that you're going to get up top at some point, and you're going to have to make speed. But Ethan Bells would take the limited modified win at Sabine on Saturday night. He was contested between Michael Harlow and Stephen Guidry. Harlow coming on second, K1 coming on third. Factory stocks 88M. Josh Martin wasn't in the 88M, but he picks up the win for Tatum Perkins and the $22 sign there. He pretty much dominated the night all night long in that one. He was contested by CJ and Dig and Dubois there in the 55D. Your big block modifieds, no surprise. PD Patrick Daniel picks up the dub there in the Southern State Modifieds. Him and Denny G, I think, were like 4 seconds ahead of the field. Like it was a race between them two and nobody else. And so that was kind of like a wrap of Sabine, man. That place always races really, really good. It's that hidden gem. I'll continue to say it until the cows come home, man. Like whether it was William that had it back in the gap, Shane's got it now. Bubba had it there for a while. Like they went in, they cupped this thing up. Shane's been working on the bottom. Like it's when I showed up, I texted you like, man, like Shane's changed the shape of this place up a little bit, and I think it's gonna get like it's only going to get better. He kind of messed with that bottom side a little bit and trying to get that bottom just as good as that top side. And I think they're definitely working on something, but we see it night in and night out. Anytime you go to Sabine, man, last year, the Triple Crown race was phenomenal there, and they don't really get a whole lot of spotlight. So a weekend like this is really cool to see them. get that major attention, right? Because it is a place. No, the facilities ain't nice. You're going to drive down a whole trail to get there, but man, that place can flat out race with the best of them. But shout out to Ethan Bales, man. That E8's been lights out fast at Sabine this year. Josh Martin continues hot, whether it's the 88M with a $22 sign, he's still ripping. PD picks up the modified win and just hitting them again. Brandon Malone picked up the Sportster and Wade Cook in the front wheel drives.
Absolutely. Also, a Super B Speedway race on Saturday night. I just want to cover the bases on your Louisiana results. Jamie Shirley put the Tommy Mercer 100 car in Victory Lane for your factory stock win. It's cool to see, man. He had some speed at 30K a couple weeks ago, did Jamie Shirley. So it's good to see him get a win there. Your street stock winner was Parker Cloud. No surprises there. Bubba Mullins won your Crate Racing USA Crate Late Model feature. Mark Underwood Jr. stayed around home and raced this past weekend as he put the 99 Junior car in limited modified Victory Lane. Devin Richards is on an absolute tear right now. I don't know how many cars are showing up every week to run against him, but here's the deal: is like that 4 car is fast no matter who shows up, and that's what I've learned and found out over the years is Richards is always fast, always fast. You show up to Super B or anywhere that 4 car shows up, you're gonna have to go through him to get it done, whether that's William Brooks or whoever else might show up over there to run with the number 4 car from Bastrop, Louisiana. So Devin Richards with another win there, and Shane Walker picked up the Sportster win. Over to Texas, man. Some more notable Texas results. I don't have each and every track's results here. I did just want to mention Jet Hefty got the RPM Speedway factory stock win. Chad Comer won limited modifieds at 105. That was his debut for 2026 in that brand new his C3 race car. That's a beautiful looking race car for Chad Comer. Always has a really nice looking race car. Kamo is officially on a roll in the hobby stocks at the 105. Kamo, Kenneth Montgomery on a roll in the 4 car. And dude, one of the best factory stock races I saw all of the weekend was Dion Redmond and Justin Whitehead. Outstanding battle in the factory stock feature at Rocket Raceway Park on Saturday night. Dion Redmond got the 36J, picked his pocket through a heavy set of lap traffic. Former track champion Dion Redmond in the 38 car gets the victory over Justin Whitehead. And dude, the stock car feature, if you haven't had a chance to go back and watch it yet, Whitehead wins the stock car feature presented by On Demand Shirts by a hair, like literally this much. And the photographer down to the infield, Michelangelo, he had a different shot of it. It actually looked like Martin may have gotten Whitehead by a nose. If you go back and watch it, Whitehead coming off of turn number 4 got bottled up by a lap car. And man, Whitehead just got it by a hair. And the only reason why he got the win was by transponders. If they just went by the old naked eye, who knows what they would have called up there. I'm not sure. But yeah, it was pretty close. Like from the top, it looked like Whitehead got it, but from the infield vantage point, from the photographer from the infield, it looked like Mason Martin on the outside line in the 31 car may have got him, but it wasn't by much. Like it was as close of a finish as you can get. I'd have to go back and look at MRP to see exactly how close it was, but what a race that was, man. And Steven Whitaker Jr. is starting to really heat up in his CDR race car. He won another Stems modified feature, this time at I-37 Speedway down in Pleasanton. And also, Jacob Perkle, speaking of IMCA modifieds, we should have talked about him a long time ago on this podcast, or I should have. Jacob Perkle is on a roll in the IMCA modifieds right now at Kennedale Speedway Park. I think that's his 6th win in like 9 starts this year. He's on a roll. Ryan Powers, fresh off of racing for 30K last week, wins factory stocks at Kennedale Speedway Park. And Matt Gilliam won a wildly entertaining IMCA stock car feature race at Kennedale Speedway Park on Saturday night. Man, I know I'm kind of all over the place here. Boone Evans got your B-Mod win at Rocket. Like, yeah, I mean, listen, there were so many different racetracks that ran. And while I am kind of talking about Rocket here, I want to give him a special shout out. I text Chris David this literally at 9:53 the other night. I had to get my phone, but something along the lines of, dude, you should be proud. You started, okay, they advertised hot laps, Cortland, Saturday at 6:30. I had the broadcast on. The broadcast wasn't even up yet because I text Chase and I said, wow, cars are on the racetrack at 6:30. And I knew that because Sean Hibbs was sitting in the stands. He took the gamble instead of going to Vivian because they went to Vivian on Friday. They said, oh, we're going to go gamble and we'll go to Rocket on Saturday. So they go to Rocket. He texted me. He said, dude, I love it when I go to a racetrack and they start on time. And so I messaged Chase Lawler, who was there announcing, and I said, dude, that's awesome. I said, starting on time at Rocket. He said, how do you even know that? And I was like, I have connections, bud. Okay. But hey, hot laps started. They rolled cars on right at 6:30. And dude, the races were over, Cortland, at 9:43 p.m. 88 cars in the pits. That's a very respectable car count. I think there was 106 down the road in Vivian. They ran a pretty efficient and quality show too. They didn't start till 8 o'clock, so that's probably ran until about 12:30 at night. So again, all these racetracks around this weekend did a really nice job of running fast and efficient shows, but nobody did it any better than Rocket. And they gave away a lot of cool shit to fans too, man. Like fans went home with some free cameras, went home with a lot of cool gear and a lot of cool different stuff. man, I promise you, people, just because this podcast is live on RaceON and you see it right there next to Zach and Cortland's name, I'm not saying this blowing sunshine up Chris David's ass. I promise you, because I'd be the first person that's critical. He'll even be the first to tell you that whenever they bought Rocket, I told him I didn't really like it. I didn't think that it was the great decision. I won't say that. I said that I wasn't sure about it. Like, man, I don't know. Like, that's a pretty ballsy move. But, dude, they're all in. And that's what I say all this to say this, that I'm really proud of them. I really am, man. Like, they're really running a really swift and efficient program. The racetrack's been good. The racing's been quality. Like, and dude, their people are showing up, man. If you continue to get your races over before 10 o'clock, your fans in the grandstands will come back and they'll be more inclined to spend a ticket to come back and watch again next weekend. But that was a lot of rambling and a lot of results and a lot of this and a lot of that, Cortland Smith. Do you have anything else for me? Because I think I just set you up for failure.
No, you did not, friend, because I got something that you didn't talk about, and that's why you got me here, okay? Tom's
Yeah, 100%.
Modifieds at Southern Oklahoma Speedway. What a race, and it was a really good show, and I'll explain why. My man Dean Abbey wheels from 13 to 2nd, all right? Slicing and dicing through the field. They have a caution with 2 to go. And my man goes down there in 3s and 4, goes down there in 3 and 4 and hits the old banana peel on him and spins out. And he is underneath the tail tank of Jeff Taylor. Dean Abbey spinning out was not on my bingo card. He charged from 13 to 2nd. Like you hit the stems mods. I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all, I've said on here numerous times. Anytime I get on Sunday afternoon, I go and watch any. If it has stems or toms, go watch it because it's both series of modifieds have really good good drivers, good little series. They always run a good program with those guys. Yeah, any shows really like you said with Rocket. Like Manny, I was home by 1 o'clock and it's an hour and 45-minute drive from the house. Like everybody done a really good job this weekend. So shout out to all tracks. Now, if you had one that you were stuck there a little bit longer, sorry, I hate your luck. But at least the ones that I spectated and I went to, we were pretty good. But Dean Abbey drives from 13th to 2nd, has a caution with 2 to go, gets underneath Jeff Taylor going into 3 and 4, not underneath, but gets to the rear tail tank of him and spins it out there. So I know I'm talking, it's probably not something Dean Abbey wanted to be talking about, but he had a really good drive there. Jeff Taylor, if you're racing mods at Southern Oklahoma, the 5 Jeff Taylor is going to be a dog. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, like he shows up to SOS and can just roll with the best of them. But the top 3 there, Jeff Taylor, Colby Smith, and Troy Taylor. That was your top 3 from Southern Oklahoma Speedway. But I wanted to give a shout out to Dean Abbey there. Had a phenomenal drive from 13th to 2nd and went down there in 3 and 4. And it was a little bit of a slick spot that kind of got bottom, not necessarily bottom dominant, but you had to kind of charge in there. And I think he just hit the brakes a little too hard and spun out. I don't really know for sure. Just kind of what it looked like from my vantage point. But Jeff Taylor picks up the win at Southern Oklahoma in the Toms. I wanted to mention that. You kind of hit on it already. Stephen Whitaker Jr. ripping the lip at I-37. Like that modified race was really good too between him and Logan Dinsmore. And I got to give a shout out to old Johnny Johnny Torres. He come home 2nd in that deal. And Johnny, I still love you. Johnny may have said a few choice words to me in the infield, Zach, at the 30,000. And then he come up to me after the race. He goes, I'm not actually mad at you. And I'm like, Johnny, like, look, I don't care if you're mad at me or not. We're going to be homies. We're good, bud. But I'm going to give him a shout out here just to let him know that I ain't mad at you. We're still good, Johnny. He finished 2nd in that Stems race. Logan Dinsmore was 3rd. Man, like you said, it just a lot of racing went on, and it's kind of hard to keep up with everything, right? I mean, it was all over the place, and you covered it very well, friend. And I just wanted to give a shout out to the Tom series there to wrap it all up.
Well, we could go here, we could go there up next, but I wanted to start this podcast off tonight because I was extremely excited to see it earlier. It was breaking news. How about Larry Phillips getting inducted finally?
Yes.
Finally, short track racers stand up and holler, man. This is a proud moment for dirt track racing. This is a proud moment for anybody that's a fan of the Show Me State racer, Larry Phillips, or if you're a fan of TP Terry Phillips, his son, who is a National Dirt Late Model Hall of Famer, who won on Friday night with the Heartland Late Model Tour that I started this podcast off, was talking about that earlier. Congratulations to Trenton Berry and those guys for starting off the tour and having 42 cars in their very inaugural race in West Plains. That's really cool to see. We'll get into more of that, but man, Terry Phillips, the first ever driver, Cortland Smith, to conquer winning seven NASCAR weekly division championships. The first driver in history of NASCAR to do that. He's one of the best, or just truly one of the best race car drivers. Passed away September 21st of 2004 at the age of 62 years old. And man, I'll never forget when Terry Phillips won the Doug Murphy Memorial in 2011. He made that move on Kelly Shryock up there in turn 2. And it's kind of ironic that I'm going to talk about this and then talk about what happened between him and Tyler Kuykendall on Saturday night at the same racetrack. That I'll never forget. Down there on the front straightaway, I had some stats. Like I used to call myself an overachiever, man. I'd be over prepared with just extra notes and nuggets and stuff. And I'd already interviewed Terry. And like, so me just trying to go above and beyond, trying to impress somebody, right? Like I didn't realize like probably back then less is more for this kind of thing, but not to get into all that. I brought up to Terry because I'd had a result that Larry Phillips had won a race that night on that same date. I can't remember the date off the top of my head now, but I had it then. And the video is on YouTube. You can go watch our post race after he won the Doug Murphy Memorial. His 10,000 win, and it was just pure pandemonium. He got into Shryock, knocked him over turn 2, and Shryock and him were down on the front straight. Anyway, everybody remembers that. It's honestly the most memorable race of my announcing career. Like it was before RaceON and all that, but one of the most memorable races of my career. But I'll never forget telling Bill Kitchen, my co-announcer at the time, like, man, I really would love to tell Terry this on the mic, but I really don't know how to bring it up. Well, I interviewed him and then I came back and I said, hey, well, Bill, if you go back and listen to the video, Bill says, hey, Zach, he said, go down there and tell Terry what you told me earlier. So like Bill kind of encouraged me to do it. And I went down there and I said, Terry, I said, on this day, 23 years ago to this day, your dad won in Shreveport, Louisiana at the Louisiana Fairgrounds Speedway on this day. Like, and I can't remember exactly how I worded it or whatever, but that was like kind of my first time. I had thought like Terry Phillips is a badass, right? But like that was whenever it realized and it occurred to me how much Terry's dad meant to him. Just like your dad means so much to you and my dad means a ton to me. But I didn't really realize how badass Larry Phillips was until like I'd went through a lot of these results. But when I brought it up to Terry straight up, and I've never, still to this day, man, I have never in my life, I am a huge TP fan. I know Terry personally. I was no, like if I want, I could probably text Terry. He'd probably respond. You know what I mean? Like we go back. And I see him at probably 10 races a year. And every time I see him, he says, hey, Zach, like we know each other by name basis. And I'm not here bragging on that. Like, oh, shark, fan. But I mean, the only reason I'm bringing this up, man, like really, like he brought that up to me like 8 years later. He's like, man, you remember that time you brought that win up that my dad had gotten Shreveport? He said, man, I just want to say, I thought that was really cool. And like, I've never talked about that anywhere except for right here, right now. Like, I don't even know that I've talked about it, but I'll never forget that, bringing that up to him. And I thought that was so cool that it just occurred to me how badass his dad must have been to have won a race in the state of Louisiana, being a Missouri-based racer. I know guys traveled back then too, but yeah, I've never seen Terry even get close to being emotional, but he was semi-emotional that night. And he's like, man, that's pretty cool. And he's like, I miss my dad, and I'll never forget that, but that's all I got. Like, I wish the story was a little bit better for you, but that's the night that Terry gave us that man. Hey, way I look at it, when he punched Shryock over too, he said, way I look at it, that's big time racing. He said, that's big time racing. Me and my brother over the years, anytime Jared ever did anything good on the racetrack, he'd either text me when he got back after his heat, he'd say, that's big time racing.
Hey, anyway, I was in the pit bleachers that night when my man TP pulled that, and it was pandemonium. You split the stands in half. A bunch of people maybe weren't the happiest, and a bunch of people were cheering on. But that was one that's etched in my brain as a youngin, sitting on the backstretch, watching the Doug Murphy Memorial there in TP. Kind of did what he had to do. You get that in big time automobile racing, friend. It is what it is.
Yeah, Larry Phillips got named in 2023 one of NASCAR's 75 greatest drivers of all time.
Yeah.
To be in that kind of company is just really cool. And I know we're talking a lot about Larry, or we talked a lot about Terry to talk about Larry and vice versa, but they are two jam up individuals and two phenomenal race car drivers. Times have changed, ladies and gentlemen. Racing is the whole sport is just differently than the way it used to be and the way it operates now. But I think it's so important that we never lose sight of greatness, right? And great racers like Larry Phillips truly was. And us spending 4 or 5 minutes on this podcast, he's more deserving of that time. Honestly, we could do a whole show on it. I think honestly, we need to bring Trent Berry on here one night, because man, he has such adoration for or admiration for TP and Larry Phillips. But anyway, man, that's good stuff. Georgetown Speedway, the World of Outlaws raced at G-Town this past weekend. The World of Outlaws raced at G-Town, Selinsgrove, And Marion Center on Friday, they got rained out. It was going to be 30,000 win on Saturday at Marion Center. They got rained out, but they did race at Bedford on Sunday. And how about this list of winners? Okay, Bobby Pierce won at Georgetown, but that was a pretty damn good race. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it on Dirt Vision. Pierce won in the 32. T-Mac wins at Selinsgrove. Dude, Selinsgrove, that was a banger. Really good race. And then on Friday night at Marion Center, if you'd have had this on your bingo card, folks, you'd have lied. If you told me that Logan Zarin and Jared Miley are going to split features, you're lying to your mom and your daddy, your aunts and uncles, and your brother and your sister and your nephew, because nobody or anybody thought Logan Zarin didn't even think he was going to win one of them features, nor did Jared Miley, but they got it done. What about that? And Mason Ziegler winning at Bedford. Dude, that was one of my favorite wins of the year. Ziggy winning with the World of Outlaws again. It's been 7 years. Dude, loves Ziegler. Always been a big fan of the 25Z car, the Chalk Hill Express. Think about all them years he'd come and run at Eldora, Cortland, and Mason Ziegler was a factor. I always loved kind of his underdog mentality in a way. Like he's one of them really, really salty, kind of like on the same level as a Greg Satterley, right up there in PA. But man, Mason Ziegler winning with the World of Outlaws is one of the coolest things I saw this weekend. What about you?
What
about the World of Outlaws?
And I mean,
we still got to get to the best thing we saw all weekend, but yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I mean to interrupt you.
No, I mean, just the World of Outlaws had a phenomenal swing up there in the Northeast. And whenever you roll up there, you got those PA guys. You know, people may say, you know, Illinois is the central hub of dirt late model racing, right? You got so many of these great guys in Illinois. And when you show up, you got to race guys like Miles Moose that I mentioned earlier, right? But same thing when you roll over to Pennsylvania. Like, you got Mason Ziegler, you got Greg Satterley, you got this Pennsylvania, almost like another PA posse for the late model world, right? That you know that you're going to contest with in that area. And man, it was really, really cool. When you look at this Marion Center, this was the top three. Zarin wins feature one. Brent Larson was second. Turbo was third. Like that's an interesting top three right there. In feature two, Jared Miley picks up the win. Dustin Sorensen was second, and Tristan Chamberlain was third. Some people may hate the split features. Some people may say whatever they want to about Marion Center, but whenever you end up with like the top threes like that, like that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? Like that is something that is really, really cool. But I think the biggest thing you take away from this is like the racing was really good at all these racetracks. And if you try to sit there and put your finger on one or the other being better than the other, like you really can't, because there was highlights from every single one that you can take away. And it's like, dude, like they put on some absolute shows this past weekend.
Yeah.
And I would be remiss if I didn't say it. Well, dude, that Nick Hoffman, like I know he didn't necessarily win a race, but bruh, like that 9 car, he may not pop a NOS every night, but that 9 car is just sitting there chipping away and just, dude, he is 29 for 29. If he starts a feature, he finishes in the top 10. Like he every single feature he has started this year, he's 29 for 29 in top 10s. Like that is absolutely insane. And this dude, and that's adding all the Speed Weeks races down there in Florida that he ran, everything so far this year. Like if the dude makes a race, he's going to finish in the top 10. And to me, like that's something that when you look at for when you're starting a year off, I think the last time he finished outside the top 5, he finished 9th at like Volunteer. You know what I mean? Like that was like several weeks ago. Like it's absolutely crazy. He's not winning a bunch of races, and I'm sure I'll be the first one to tell you he wants to win more. But dude, I mean, he comes away with a 3rd at Georgetown, a 5th at Selinsgrove. He finished like 5th or 6th in the Marion Center. He finishes 3rd at Bedford on Sunday. Like the dude is just sitting there chipping away. And every single night when you look up, that 9 car is hunting the front and finding a way to be in contention for races. And the dude is giving Bobby Pierce everything he wants for this championship run into the month of May and farther on.
Which is kind of interesting, right? It draws this conversation. It's like, well, how can you say that Bobby Pierce is the #1 dirt late model driver in power rankings right now if he's not even leading the points in his said series? You know what I mean? Like that's what makes the argument a little bit tougher, which I would say like that's an easy conversation to have. Like, okay, Bobby Pierce is #1 right now. I don't think many people would put up a big argument, but you could put the argument up that Nick Hoffman's as good, if not a little bit more consistent. Pierce has 23 top 10s on the year. Hoffman has 5 wins. Pierce has 8. I think this thing, I mean, is this championship, is Nick Hoffman going to be able, because I think we know, because we've seen this out of Pierce for so long. We've seen Nick start to develop and become this consistent driver as of late, right? These last couple of years since he's got with Ty Torg in this NOS Energy Drink #9 car. But even now, right, you can just see him pushing the progression and getting more comfortable, more confident every single week. Does this go all the way down to Charlotte? Do you think that it does, Cortland? Do you think when we're in November or when we get to Boot Hill in October, when we're racing for $50,000 in Greenwood, Louisiana, are we talking about Nick Hoffman and Bobby Pierce still being around 10 points going for this championship? I think that they will be, man. I have no reason to believe that Nick Hoffman's not going to be this tough all the way through November.
Man, the only way it doesn't happen is if the 32 just catches a wild hot streak. But I don't think it's going to happen because, dude, like you look at look at Tim McCready, like he's gotten better in this Boone Briggs ride, right? You got guys like Ryan Gustin, you got guys Ryan Gustin, you got Turbo who's running really good. I mean, like like this World of Outlaws deal. I know they want to sit there and people always going to throw that this Lucas tour is a lot tougher, whatever. Hey, however you want to peel your banana is how you want to peel your banana. I'm not going to argue with you. But at the end of the day, like this World of Outlaws field is really tough, and night in and night out, it's an absolute battle. And that Nick Hoffman, dude, the way he's so consistent, like it's going to come down to the end because it's like, and not that it's feast or famine for Bobby. He's fast. Like he's going to finish up front. But this 9 car, he takes those nights where you're going to run 5th or 6th and finds a way to get into 3rd place, right? Like he's just so consistent right now. And like he just manages his way. He's obviously got a really good program, like the biggest part of the deal when you've got to finish those, like you got to finish the races first, like, obviously his maintenance program. Yeah. I mean, you got to finish the races first. So you take a guy like him, he's on top of his program. I'm not saying Bobby Pierce and them ain't just, I truly believe like this really may come down to a Nick Hoffman. This is going to be a Nick Hoffman 32 race all the way to the end. And I may be completely wrong, and that's okay, friends, because nobody can tell the future, but it's going to be a tight battle all the way through.
Yeah. As you were talking about that, you think about this weekend and how tough it is. Like Big Perm led a lot of laps the other night at Selinsgrove, wasn't it? And then Drake Troutman's been fast every single where he goes. If he could just keep his damn tires inflated, he'll finish some more races. But like that might be more conducive to his, that might be due to his driving style, right? The way he's always on the ragged edge of disaster might be the reason why the 22 star car doesn't finish as many races as maybe the 9 or the 32 car does. Bobby Pierce, as aggressive as he is, has found a way to angle that aggression into being able to be consistent. Like that's what makes the 32 so good, is because he's always on the edge, but he's found a way to be on the edge, but a way to be consistent while on the edge. And that's what makes him so damn good. And that's what makes, obviously Huddy and everybody else that's really good. Obviously that's the World of Outlaws. They're next up. Again, Nick Hoffman leads the points by 10. They're next up at Wayne County next week. They are off, which is good. I kind of love the fact that they're off on Memorial Day, because think about how many years that the Show Me 100 had to race against something else that was going on. Was it the Firecracker? No, did the Firecracker run against the Show Me for a few years? No, it wasn't that one. I'm sorry.
The Show Me's always been
there's been a few. The World of All had a 2 or 3 day swing there for a few years, and it made it tough on some guys that really wanted to go and run the Show Me. Well, thankfully the World of Outlaws are off this week. They're back at it at Wayne County and Mansfield Speedway, which is going to be really cool. Mansfield's back up and going. It'll be interesting to see the Outlaws back up there racing. Obviously, most notable race there in their history was Earl Pierce Jr. won the the Mansfield Million, or whatever the hell we want to call it. Ended up being like $300,000 or something like that, but it was in a black diamond chassis for my man Ronnie Stuckey right here out of Blanchard, Louisiana. So that's that. This week, the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series on Memorial Day weekend, like we said, has the Show Me 100. And dude, you really don't ever know who's going to win this thing, because one year it might be Peyton Looney, or it might be the O Show. Jimmy Owens might win it 5 years in a row, or Davenport might win it 2 in a row. But then that one year, Peyton Looney might show up and show out and take them to the woodshed. Man, the Show Me 100, I would love to get up there. I love that racetrack. That's one I'd like to attend in person. Such a beautiful racetrack. The facility's so nice. But, man, I'm going to be locked. Of course, I'll be, if we don't get rained out this weekend, I'll be at the Triple Crown Throwdown between Manny Boone Hill Architects. But the Show Me 100, man, it's going to be awesome to watch this weekend.
The Show Me 100 is one of those legendary, crown jewel late model races. Like it's been around forever. Everybody knows about it. And then when you match it, just the prestige of that race, and you put it at Lucas Oil Speedway, it just, the facility is so nice. I've been fortunate to go up there one time, went up there with a 14M team, and man, like that facility, like they got a car wash there. They got a pond you can go fishing at. Like there's a Casey's right down the road. It just, man, like when you roll up to that facility and then like you're there for the Show Me 100 weekend, and it is a spectacle. You gotta go see it in person. If you've never been to Lucas Oil Speedway, you got to go. And what better weekend to go than the Show Me 100 weekend? It might be a little late now by the time you're hearing this to plan your Show Me 100 trip, but put it on your radar at some point in time, make your way up there. And like you said, whether it's a Peyton Looney, a Jimmy Owens go through and wins 5 of them, and you got guys like Hudson O'Neal, Devin Moran, it always seems that you got these random, not random, but it's just like you never really know who's going to be dominant there. Has the 49 been pretty fast there the last couple of years? Yeah. The 71 had a pretty good track record there in the old spring national races. So you kind of got you're going to have to weigh your cards there a little bit. But like you said, when you roll in there, that place is just different, and then they changed the shape of it up. Yeah. So, and then they changed the shape. Yeah. I got this part. You just let me steer this ship for a second.
Shut up. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be quiet. Bro, you just a step on you. What a guy.
But they changed up the shape in 3 and 4 there. So it is, man. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know if they're fighting a little bit of weather too. I've seen a couple guys talking about they don't necessarily know if they're going to make the haul out there yet. So it's one of those deals. I hope that weather pending, I hope it doesn't affect nobody. There's a lot of big races. Memorial Day weekend, man. It's the greatest race weekend in the world, right? Like it really is. And this starts off the series of crown jewels, because when you look on the late model calendar and you start from here, it seems like either every week or every other week you got a 50K plus race to win, all the way running through the topless 100, right? So, and this is right here this summertime. This is when we really get kicked off and rolling in the super late model world. So I hope everything, they get it all in up there and have a really good show, because that race deserves it. That facility deserves it, and everything about it, man. It's one of those true crown jewels in dirt late model racing.
Absolutely is, man. Can't wait. Hope it, dude. Nothing's worse than getting rained out here locally, and then you want to watch super late model or national sprint car racing live on the TV, like I talked about earlier, and then it gets rained out too. Then you're really up Shit's Creek without a paddle. But it is what it is. Maybe we're just so eaten up with it. Maybe we just need a Saturday off. Maybe we need a little breather from dirt track racing. But we're just so ate up with it. We don't. Yeah, you're right. We don't need it. The World of Outlaw sprint cars were also at Eldora. I want to quickly hit this. Got a few minutes left here.
Yes.
Because also I told you earlier we were going to kick off the podcast, and I wanted to start off tonight, is what we said earlier, and then I completely just blew it, because this has been, I'll tell you what, folks, the ADD has got me on this one tonight. I've been here and been over there. The dogs are barking. The dogs they're outside. I know they're wet as shit now, and then I'm going to have to bring them back in and drop. Whatever. Nobody cares except for me. Best thing you saw all weekend is what I wanted to do. Best thing you saw all weekend, real quick. We'll get to that in just a second. But the World of Outlaw sprint cars with Eldora, Rico Abreu got the win on Friday night. Logan Schuchart got his first win in almost a full calendar year with the NOS Energy Drink World of Outlaw sprint cars, and his first World of Outlaws win since the loss of Scruffy Bobby Allen, one of the original World of Outlaw sprint car drivers, which is his grandpa, owned the Shark Racing team. It was great to see Logan Schuchart back in victory lane on Saturday night, your former $1 million sprint car winner at the Big E. He was emotional, obviously dedicated the win to Bobby Allen. Dude, Eldora was racy, super racy, both Friday and Saturday night. It was thin, razor thin cushion up top, and slick and smooth. And Eldora is obviously fast, but man, Rico may have swept the night if he had 2 more laps. Like, Rico rolled on Friday and he ran Schuchart down on Saturday. If he had 1 more lap, I think Rico would have been sweeping the weekend.
Dude, I'm telling you, Rico had that TSR ride looking like Donnie Schatz back in the day at Eldora. You know what I mean? Like, he was rolling that bottom of 1 and 2 to perfection. Like, he can make speed where a lot of other guys couldn't. And I was going to hit before we jumped off of the World of Outlaws at Eldora, dude. That old Rico, like, they found their stride here in the last couple of weeks. And I mean, like, he's really good at those big tracks. I mean, Rico, like, we all know Rico Abreu can drive. We know the TSR team. That's a really good team. Like, everything's going to come together. But dude, the way that car operated Friday, you knew he was the baddest hot rod of the bunch. And then Saturday, like you said, I absolutely love the fact that Logan Schuchart was able to pick up that win and get the job done there. He earned it. Like, checker flag flew. He was leading. But Rico Abreu was a salty dog, I'm telling you, because he had that old thing tuned up around the bottom side of Eldora, especially in 1 and 2, man. He kind of had that, like I said, it was kind of like a reminiscence of Donnie Schatz in the TSR ride, right? Like, just able to make speed where nobody else doesn't seem to.
Absolutely. So again, we're going to start the pod off tonight, but we'll do it here at the end. The best thing you saw all weekend, again, this could be anything. And we're going to start doing this every week if we can, if we'll remember. But the best thing you saw all weekend, and sports related, obviously, the best thing I would have saw all weekend was if the Buffalo Sabres could have won that damn NHL Game 7 hockey game last night. But they broke our hearts, and the Montreal Canadiens ended up winning. But so the best thing that I saw all weekend, because the Sabres couldn't get it done, was Tarkington, Texas racer. Okay, this is perfect for Clark After Dark because he's a Texas racer. We just saw him race live on RaceON last week, winning $5,000 at Kennedale Speedway Park. But Christopher Townsend, the number 71 red sprint car, goes down to Southern Raceway after winning 5K at KSP last week, goes down to Milton, Florida to Southern Raceway, takes the back row challenge after winning his heat race. This little dude starts dead last and drives to the front and makes a pass with 2 laps to go for the win. The coolest part about it all was seeing the fans on their feet cheering him on. Dude, Southern Raceway's booming right now. Hunt the front. The joiners have got it rocking and a rolling. I know it's Hunt the front. I know it's the joiners, but I don't give a damn. However you're doing it, however you're getting fans in the stands, whether it's your name recognition, whatever your status may be, it doesn't matter. It's all dirt track racing. And people are showing up and they're showing out down at Southern Raceway. I told you all on this podcast before, I've been there. I announced there in 2023, and I left there thinking, this is one of the most electric atmospheres I've ever been involved in since I've been in racing. And I've been announcing since 2008. And I thought, like, really, I told the joiners, I said, man, I would love to come back here at some point in the future because, man, it was just electric. Like, them fans there are die hard. And just think about it, Cortland. They have just been dying. They have just been begging for somebody to do something good with their little old racetrack down there, right? They just want somebody to do something good with their little old racetrack. And boy, have the joiners ever answered the bell. Like, really, man, I am not blowing smoke. This kid, Christopher Townsend, works from the tail and makes a pass. And, dude, it seemed like everybody in the stands was up on their freaking feet cheering this kid on. It was awesome to watch, man. It really was. What was your best thing you saw all weekend?
I do got to give credit to that because it was really cool. And I know Townsend absolutely had to love it to go back and watch the video. And like you said, it seemed like every person was up there giving the old finger, like, go, go, go. Like that has to be something like that's what you do it for, right? My best thing of the weekend, you almost spoiled it earlier, and I was going to be mad at you. But my best thing was Logan Zarin and Mason Ziegler picking up the wins, man. The Logan Zarin, I love it when a driver gets out and is absolutely pumped up. And, dude, like, he was so excited he dropped the checker flag. You know what I mean? Like, the dude gets out at Marion Center and is just absolutely ecstatic. And then he comes down there and he's like, dude, we've been getting our teeth kicked in all year long. And then now that we're up in my neck of the woods, like I can prove that I deserve to be here. And I don't think people, like, whether it's split feature or not, like, the dude still had dogs in that race. And I don't think people understand the mental toll. Like, we think that these racers go out there and they live this glorious life and they're living the dream and this, that, and the other. And I don't know the whole entire situation with the Zarin racing camp, but I'm telling you, like, it takes a toll on a driver and a team mentally to go out there night in and night out. And he's taking his lumps like a champ. It's no easy feat to go out on a national tour, just automatically be a contender, right? And when he gets out of there fired up, I mean, you could just tell the weight of the world is lifted off of his shoulders. Because if anything this year so far, he's supposed to, when I show up to my home territory, I got to be good. Like that's the whole, not the whole reason why we run the tour, but like when I show back up, I got to be good at my home area. And to do that, you could just tell. I mean, he was emotional in victory lane, and you could just tell. It felt like the weight of the weight of the world was off of his shoulders by winning there and being like, okay, I can do it. I know it's in my neck of the woods, but I'm like, this was my place to do it at. And I know I had to get it done. So shout out to him. And then Mason Ziegler picking up the win and having his daughter in victory lane. Like, you could just tell like you said, Ziggy's just one of those good guys. Ran a national tour here and there, and to have his daughter in victory lane. So just not necessarily too emotional for Ziegler, but to have the family and all there to win the way he did. And dude, like, Ziegler was really good this past weekend too. Don't sleep on that 25Z. Like, they got something figured out in that camp as well. But it was really, really cool to see Logan Zarin pick up that Outlaws win at Marion Center, and Mason Ziegler to have his daughter there in victory lane. They had a post on social media, like, what it's all about. And it was him holding his daughter in victory lane. Right. And you could tell she was pumped up for him. So shout out to Logan Zarin, man. I'm happy for you. You did it, man. And that's something that a lot of people won't be able to ever do. And Mason Ziegler having his daughter in victory lane.
It's a great point, because think about the shoe being on the other foot. We were at Shane's Seafood on a Sunday a few weeks ago celebrating Jeff Lewis's 60th birthday, and guess who was there? Ray Moore, driver of the 93, and I talked to Ray for a little bit, and we talked about that race that he got second to Bloomquist in, and he says that he has a hard time sleeping, and like, he thinks about that race all the time. And you think about that, like, Logan Zarin's not going to have to worry about that. Like, I'm sure there's other races in his career that have slipped away from him and got out of his grasp. But like, as many races as Ray Moore has won, I just had a memory pop up on my social media, on my Facebook memories last week. And I was interviewing Ray. It was one of my ones where I was holding my phone. This is before RaceON. But I interviewed Ray, and the first question I said to him, because it was the first Comp Cam Super Dirt Series feature following the Lucas Oil race, that was on April the 5th, 2014. And I said to him, I said, Ray, is this ultimate redemption for you? And he said, it definitely is, and I'll never forget that. Like, he was so heartbroken. He led 38 and a quarter laps at Arklatex, his home racetrack.
Yeah.
And who got him? The dirt tracks dominator, Scott Bloomquist. Like, if you're going to finish second to anybody, it might as well be Scott, right? But still to this day, like, it would have been the story for Ray. Like, just think about it. He accomplished a lot, but just think about the story if you could have said that you beat Scott Bloomquist. But it almost makes it cool that Scott beat you too, because unfortunately Scott's no longer with us anymore, and it kind of adds to the old wives' tale. But man, that's all I got this week on Clark After Dark. I know we rambled about, or I did. I went from here and went to there and back here, but I know I do that from every once in a while, but it bees like that sometimes. Thanks to our producer, Cody Wooten, for everything he does here on this podcast. Thank you, Cortland Smith, for being you, man. Appreciate you. Can't wait to race for Darty this week. Hopefully we get to, and if not, hopefully we can get a reschedule. Hopefully we can just race somewhere. I know you got something else, so I'm going to let you get after it.
Yeah, I just want to say, man, it's absolute pleasure to do the podcast with you. I know you're wrapping up there. We got to get out of here, but I just want to formally say, we get it in this weekend, man. Please come out to Sabine Speedway and support this event. I know a lot of people are headed that way. It means a lot to me, my mom, my sister. It really is, man. This is a special event, and I do just want to say thank you to everybody that has helped along the way. Thank you to everybody that's coming, the ones that have already sent messages saying they got this, that, and the other going on. Hey, I understand that life happens, but this Triple Crown Throwdown weekend, man, it really is a cool event, and what better way to commemorate old Pops over there with starting the Triple Crown Throwdown weekend in a special way. It's funny, you talk about memories, and actually on Facebook today popped up a memory. We were loading up Memorial Day weekend and 4th of July weekend. We always went somewhere. Like, we would always go race 2 or 3 nights, and we were loaded up. We headed to Timberline Speedway. I think that probably 36J was promoting it then, and we loaded up, went to Timberline Speedway Memorial Day weekend, then went to Diamond Park and ended up at Arklatex or Lone Star or something like that. But just just thank you to everybody that's been a part of the Darty Smith from day one. And I thank everybody that plans on attending, that's ever attended it, man. Anybody that's ever had a piece in it, man, it really does mean the world to me and my family. And I hope to see you at a racetrack this weekend. We all know weather, like you said, like you started off, Zach. Weather's always pending. It is what it is. But look, like I said, the faith of a mustard seed can move a mountain. Maybe we can move this old rain chances a little bit. But worst case, if not, see you next week from your boy Cortland Smith right here.
Absolutely. Final thing I'm going to say to you before we get out, if you had a theme song to pull onto the racetrack Friday night as you get back behind the wheel of a race car, what would your theme song be as you pull on?
Oh, that's tough. I don't know. You caught me off guard. I don't know. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them.
All right. Well, hey, how about this? I'm gonna put you a little stranglehold on. Woo, baby. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, you can watch my man Cortland Smith wheel the old J316 factory stock. No pressure. On Friday night. Hey, man, no pressure. Just go out there and have fun. Honor your dad. That's what we're here to do. We'll see everybody at Sabine Motor Speedway this weekend. We're going to ride off into the hot Louisiana night here with a little stranglehold by Ted Nugent. Come on back, baby. Thank y'all for listening. Be blessed and be blessing. We'll see you next time.
Later.